Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd try something a little bit different today, so it's not really a tutorial or anything like that. It's more of like a little chat, I suppose. I'm just going to kind of talk and see what happens. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a stylist by profession. That's what I get paid to do, and I get a lot of questions asking how I became a stylist and what you need to do to become a stylist and all this kind of stuff, and it's really difficult to answer just in like a comment or in a quick reply, so I thought I'd do a video about it. Yeah, and this is my story. I think there are a lot of ways to becoming a stylist, but yeah, this is my story and this is how I became a stylist. So a lot of people always say, you know, do I need to study? Like, what do I need to study? You know, I know a lot of stylists who do have like their diplomas, they have their masters, they have all this kind of stuff behind them. But then the majority of stylists I know are the ones who kind of work in the studios, who don't work in that kind of like officey side of it. And they're the ones who don't really have any of this. And this is the same with me. So basically at GCSE I took art. That was about it. I just knew I loved art. I loved being creative. I was never, you know, too intellectual. That was completely stupid, but you know, I had to retake maths and failed that miserably. So yeah, so I had to retake maths in college, and in college I done media studies, graphic design, photography. So again, I just didn't know what route I wanted to go down. A lot of people, younger people, always ask, you know, did I know what I wanted to be when I grew up? And I had no idea. I had no idea. I just kind of dabbled in everything. But yeah, I took photography in my final year at college and I loved it. Like, I loved being creative. I was obsessed with America's Next Top Model at the time. So I loved like recreating the shoots they do on there. I loved retouching. I loved it. I like lived it. It was so much fun. So at university, I decided to take editorial and advertising photography. So basically that means any photographs that you're going to see published in a magazine, whether it's fashion, whether it's sports. So yeah, I got to dabble in a bit of all types of photography in that class. However, I would find that what I did really love about the course was actually the production side behind it. So we'd do a lot of shoots, we'd organise a lot of our own photo shoots, and I just loved putting everything together. I loved finding clothes for the models to wear, you know, putting them together. I was a student, I had no money to buy real clothes, so I'd go to the charity shops and I would just kind of make, you know, I'd like rip stuff apart and tack it back together. You know, all the models were wearing clothes that was safety pinned at the back. But yeah, so I kind of just realised that's what I really liked, but I thought, you know, I have my photography degree now, I'm going to go to London. I'm from Hampshire, so that's down south in England. I'm going to go to London, I'm going to get a basic job that pays the rent, pays the bills, and then search for a job in my time off. If you've ever moved to London with the idea that you're going to go up there and spend all your free time job searching, you know that that is not how it goes at all, like at all. I worked in Top Man, so I worked in Oxford Circus, and I worked in Top Man on the shop floor, and it was busy, like it's a very busy shop. So on my days off, I was not doing anything. I was either out the night before, so I was relaxing at home, or I was just trying to chill. Like, if you've never been to Oxford Circus before, the Top Man Top Shop in there in London, they have a service called personal shopping. When I worked there, Top Shop personal shopping was open, but Top Man wasn't. And they were just making it, they wanted a whole new team of people to open this new, brand new Top Man personal shopping. When I do a job, I like to do it well, no matter what that job is. I just like to put lots of effort into it. So I had a good, you know, good customer service thing going on. We were rewarded with like golden lanyards, and we had badges and all this kind of stuff. It made you feel dead important. I had my golden lanyard on, and I was approached by two of the managers for the personal shopping team. And I think it was like hearing about my customer service. They basically wanted me to be front of house to this new personal shopping. So I'd welcome in the clients, like make sure they had a drink, make sure everyone knew where they were, and everyone knew where their appointments were, who their appointments were, that they had their briefs, you know, what room they were in for their appointment. So of course I really wanted to go for the job. I had an interview. I just really wanted to be back in that kind of creative environment. So around all these stylists who were just, you know, yeah, being creative, and it's just such a cool atmosphere. So like I said, when I do a job, I like to put my all into it. So I had some, like the people I was working with were incredible. Like they're all my best friends now, but they were stylists from like Vivienne Westwood, like they were pattern cutters, you know, like they all have these amazing talents. They had worked in luxury styling before, luxury retail, and just really cool creative people. And of course this was massively inspiring for me, so I'd be watching like all their appointments, like the little tips that they were giving out when they were dressing celebrities, what they were saying, you know, the little tips that they were even giving the celebrities, how they were dressing people. I would just be asking questions non-stop, and I'm sure it was really, really annoying, but I wanted to learn, I wanted to know. But basically the structure in personal shopping is that you have your shopper and then you have an assistant. So the assistant is the person who, you know, maybe grabs different sizes for you, will take a client if you're busy for you. You know, they're really great. They're really great stylists as well. But, you know, the personal stylists are incredible. You know, they've been in the business for a little bit longer. So after a year, a couple of years maybe, I don't know, I completely lost track of time. I've had so many jobs, I don't even know how long I was at each one for. So after a period of time, a vacancy for the assistant role came up, which I of course wanted to do. I was pretty much doing it anyway, but this really meant that I'd have the responsibility of maybe getting to do some appointments and get a bit of practice in. And one thing I didn't mention as well was Top Man do a lot with the X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, One Direction Stylist, for example, was always in. And again, these are amazing creative people that are just so inspirational. So when they're styling, and I used to watch them deciding like what they were going to do, putting outfits together, and again asking questions, all the little tips and tricks and do's and do nots kind of thing. So it was such a cool environment to be around, and as an assistant you'd usually get to help out these people. So that was really, really cool. So then I got the assistant job, I was assistant for a while, then I worked my way up to personal shopper. So I was a personal shopping stylist. I styled celebrities for the Top Man magazine, for their days off, for TV appearances. Got to dress your everyday guy as well. I even got to go down to Topshop sometimes and do women's styling. It was just really, really good. And again, I was constantly learning, constantly picking up tips and tricks from some of the best people in the kind of commercial styling industry. So I was really, really lucky. I literally fell into it. And then I've been at Top Man for a while. You know, the team had changed so many times, and all my best friends who I started with had gone on to do other things, and I was like, you know, maybe it's my time now. Maybe I need to move forward, see what else is there for me. I've been in London a while, and I just kind of need to explore my options. So then one of my best friends told me about a job going at ASOS.com. If you don't know what ASOS.com is, where have you been and where do you live? Have a look now. They're such a cool clothing company, and I literally jumped at the chance. I jumped and grabbed my phone and had to look up, you know, how can I apply? And then one of my friends actually had put me forward for the role. They got in touch with someone and said, you know, I think James will be perfect for it. I went for a very intimidating interview, but it was a great interview. They filmed us and made sure we were comfortable on camera. So it was the perfect job because I get to do all my styling, I get to style myself, I still get to talk to customers and give style advice, whether it's through Twitter or my Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And I get to do videos like this as well now. So now I'm kind of in this personal styling role. I assisted a few people while I was in London. I tried the whole magazine, high-end kind of styling. It's not for me. I tend to like people. I like getting to know people. I went for an awful interview with this guy for a magazine, and it was just not me. It was the kind of fashion industry you see on Devil Wears Prada, where I watched two best friends bitching about each other. You know, everyone thinks they're better than someone else. It's just not for me. I just don't think you get anywhere in life being like that. So yeah, that's why the commercial kind of styling side for me is so much more fun. Still very, very creative. So if I'm going to sum this up, basically, I didn't have any kind of styling degree, if that makes sense, or diploma or anything like that, but as I did editorial photography, I had to know fashion magazines, I had to know my brands, designers, styles, everything like that, because, you know, I wanted to do fashion photography. I was genuinely very, very interested in it anyway. So that definitely helped. But then the rest of it was kind of just luck and perseverance. I know that's really, really annoying, but you have to be genuinely interested in it. There are so many people, especially in London or in your capital cities, who refer to themselves as a stylist or want to be a stylist. So yeah, there's a lot of competition, and I think the only genuine way to stand out from this competition is to, first of all, be nice to people. I think one thing that the fashion industry, when you get into it, is so small, everyone kind of knows each other. If you're an absolute bitch, people know, and they don't want to work with you. They just won't want to work with you. So I like people, and I tend to get along with most people, so be nice, be willing to help, be willing to work for free for such a long time. If you're going to assist, I assisted for a while, so on my days off I'd sometimes be assisting shoots. Be willing to work for free to get the experience, but you know, if you want to be a stylist, you'll want to work for free because you want to gain that experience and you want to get, you know, in with the right people. Yeah, hard work, perseverance, work for free, be nice, and then eventually, hopefully, everything will fall into place. So that's my story. I hope it was interesting. You know, I don't expect the views on this to be massive, but it's kind of just really for those people who wondered how to get into the fashion industry, I suppose, and how I became a stylist personally. I've got quite a few stylist friends, so I actually want to do another video interviewing a few of them, getting their story, because I think it's pretty interesting. There's so many different ways you can get into it. But yeah, like I said, I hope it's interesting. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Any more questions, of course, leave them all down below, and I will see you next week.